Good evening and welcome back. It is Night Talk on August 21st. I'm Teddy and I'm just coming on again tonight to have an open mic and chat. Shout out to the mob, all my other bears. I call the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. Please go ahead, hit the like on your way in. I'm going to start off with just a little bit of smooth jazz and soul, and I will be right back. Please let me know that the sound is clear. Wait a minute, I have a lot of tracks all lined up for smooth jazz and soul, pure jazz. Yeah, so this one could play for hours and hours. I said, let me come on. Let me come on. Let me come on. It's 10:30. I am not going to be on to midnight tonight. It would have to be like some breaking news or something. Yeah. How's everybody doing tonight? Um, last night I asked what was going on. Wow. There's a lot going on, but you know what? Some of the things that were talked about on the platform, Black Tea Sector, over the past day or two, it's I won't say it's above my pay grade. It's just, a lot more than I'm as familiar with, that I would want to really give any commentary because it's on this platform. Though it's said you don't have to pick a side, if you say anything about anyone, if they have a difference and you don't, what I'm saying, if you're not in beef with someone, then you might get accused of, um, you know, supporting or being that person's friend. I think those of you can remember that happening to me. I think it was sometime last year. hmm And boy, yes. And I've always said on this platform, content creators, at least myself, we're not friends. We're content creators. We might have a collaboration, but, I've never met up with anyone personally. Okay. And you know what? Here in Detroit, there's a lot of content creators and people watching, you know, I'll just say black tea sector. Yeah, there must be a number of people who are in close proximity and can meet up. That's what I'm thinking. And then there are those of us who, you know, it's just virtual. Yeah, just virtual. But I did listen to some of it, not all of it, but some of it. And, it's just unfortunate, really. Yeah. It's like last night when I was talking about, trolls and, what happens in this, sector, distractions, missteps. I mean, how do we keep for let me let's say it another way. For those of us in this sector, we don't see one another. Um, Not really. I I don't know content creators and others who are meeting up. Maybe they are. Unless they're like kind of big, like Tasha K. She has her comedy. Um, I don't know if she's still doing it as much. Going out. I'm sure she's doing it, but I you you have to pay for it. Ticket. And so a person is expected, to meet and greet and, um, interact with their supporters. But outside of that, unless a content creator is part of a meet and greet, do you think many are getting together, even if they are in the same city? Hmm. Yeah, because I know for me, it would be just too risky. When I say risky, anything that I would do, it can come back. Anyone, I mean, think about it. If I simply talk to someone by way of DM, all right, how much more would I hear from others if I met up with someone? Mhm. Yeah. Outside of I guess, a meet and greet. Yeah. Because really, most people don't travel necessarily, in the same sectors and circles and have the same group of, you know, fans. All those cities are, you know, they're small. I mean, all someone would have to do is, meet up. I mean, think about it. There are multiple content creators right here in Detroit. There are people who follow me on Instagram that I've noticed. Hmm. These are some Avengers. Mhm. They don't think that I know that. But they're following D for Danielle too. And, you know, not just passively. And they're here in Detroit. Outside of Detroit, like West, you know, I mean, they're all over. They are. They really are. Hmm. As a matter of fact, there's somebody out in Brighton, and Brighton is not that far from me. Yeah, Brighton is probably 15 minutes. Hmm. Brighton is west, if you're familiar. Hmm. Yeah. And I always wonder, why is this person out in Brighton and Milford? I'll just say Brighton, Milford. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen you, you know, basically. You follow me, but you've got me blocked, so I can't follow you. I don't know. How is that? Or or it's people who have private platforms, Instagram or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, people are simply around. They are. Yeah. I've mentioned this before. I've gotten a couple of phone calls from um, people here with Michigan area code calling. Hmm. Yeah. Um, because, like telemarketers don't call you and hang up. Telemarketers, they don't play that game because telemarketers, they want to market, right? They got something that usually they want to sell and whatever it is, right? So telemarketers are not the ones that would be calling and hanging up or or, or just calling, and if I pick up, just silence unless I start speaking. Now, some telemarketers have it set up, where they're waiting for a voice, and then you hear them come on. But if you speak, and I've spoken, and it's still silence, but no one hangs up, it's like, okay, what's going on? But I don't spend no time trying to figure it out. I just hang up. not, not robo scammers. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there might be a few of those out there. Yeah, but they're all over. Yeah, they're in Lansing and different places. Yeah. But yeah, we can talk about a lot of things, but I know they're around. This is Detroit. I say Detroit. That's what people say. That are basically live in and around Detroit because that's recognizable. Yeah, and I have lived in Detroit, and I have ties in Detroit, and um, yeah, Detroit has a lot of potential, and it has been, certain areas turned around. Downtown for sure. Yeah, we're probably going to get I say we because still a new mayor, probably a female. Hmm. Just endorsed by the previous Mayor Mike Duggan. Yeah. And for a long time, Detroit had uh, or had not had a Caucasian mayor. I'll just put it like that, you know. But Mike Duggan, who is white, um, he did a lot for this city. At least, you know, it was positive. Yeah. And he's endorsed a African American female. hmm Yeah, black female. That would be nice. That would be super nice. She's well connected. Yeah. She's probably going to win. I guess I should put a name to it. Let's see. She comes from a pretty good family. I've watched some of the debates. It's Mary Sheffield. She is the current Detroit Council president. Let's see if I can bring a picture of her over. Yeah. You know, some pictures of her. There she is. Let's give her a voice. This is Fox 2 YouTube. No, wait a minute. Oh, I have YouTube muted. I'd have to. Hang on. Let me go out. I was going to bring up the chat. Let me do that. Hang on for a second. Just throw this up. And I just want to see if there's plenty of footage out here. Let's get something recent. Give me a second. By the way, what do you think? President Trump, I know if I mention him, meeting with law enforcement and what's going on in Washington, D.C. He said he's going to bring that to other cities. Wait a minute. Let's see. One day ago. There she is.
Can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Oh, that's a commercial. Hang on. I'm going to bring you back over. Let's see. Make it a little larger. Where's my banner? Fair use commentary.
City Council President.
Hang on. Where is it? This is news, CBS News. Okay. Detroit, CBS News Detroit. Let's see. I can
Mary
play a little bit.
Sheffield for mayor. In a statement, Duggan highlighted her proven leadership and commitment to Detroit residents. In response, Sheffield says she's honored to receive his endorsement. She has worked alongside Mayor Duggan for the last 12 years. In response to Duggan's endorsement announcement, we're also hearing from Solomon Kinloch Jr., Detroit's other mayoral candidate. In a statement, Kinloch says Mayor Mike Duggan does not have the right to decide his successor. He went on to say, quote, "This campaign is about voters and who they want to see do investments in neighborhoods, not just downtown." Both Kinloch and Sheffield announced an advance to the November general election in Detroit's mayoral race.
It should be a pretty good race. Politics in Detroit. Let's see if I can switch this back. Give me a second. I wanted you to hear her voice or hear her speak. I'll find one. But you heard her say, the announcer, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan endorsed current council president, and Kinloch says he kind of thinks that's unfair. Let's just put up the chat. Hang on, I'm trying to reset it. I could play some music while I'm resetting. Hang on. right, so that's Lil Nas X arrested. I was just looking at some news and I thought, okay, let me copy his picture and see what's going on here. Well, it's Lil Nas, right? Lil Nas X. Well, singer, songwriter, and Grammy-winning rapper uh, arrested, has been arrested. This according to Los Angeles County Sheriff inmate records. The industry baby rapper, whose legal name is Montero Lamar Hill, was found early Thursday morning in the Studio City area of Ventura Boulevard, according to public information officer Charles Miller. Upon arrival, the suspect charged at officers and was taken into custody. He was transported to a local hospital for a possible overdose and placed under arrest for battery on a police officer. Lil Nas X is being held in the Valley Jail in Van Nuys. Van Nuys. Someone else was held. As a matter of fact, unless I know for certain, I'll get to that one. The artist who came to fame for his 2018 viral hit, Old Town Road, with Billy Ray Cyrus, has been as much as a provocateur as music artist. You know, that photograph, that's like more normal, right? What is that for him? Yeah, when I saw it, it was like, wow, that's a decent picture of Lil Nas. Yeah, not not what I think about Lil Nas, but yeah, I guess he's come a long way. In 2020, he talked to Variety about the struggles he had endured since becoming famous. Yeah, that's the cost of fame. Yeah, including the losses of fellow artist Nipsey Hussle. You remember that? Triple X Temptation and Juice World. Quoting, so much happened during my rise, drugs and unalivings, I'll just say. The M word. Lil Nas X told the publication at the time, and his grandmother passed in 2018. She was the first person close to me, he said, who died. It was devastating and it made me hypochondriac. I'd wake up, heart racing. It was scary. He also said he started smoking weed heavily as a way to self medicate. But then I started feeling more connected with the universe and taking everything as a sign, he said. I wonder how he will take this one. I don't know how old he is, but. All right, so let's see if I can bring up our chat back. Yeah, for some reason I could not control the audio on the speaker. I think I have it coming out through something else for the music. So if you hear me just cut it off, that I apologize for that in advance. Yeah. So speaking of Van Nuys, I'm not sure. I had only caught a little bit of. Now, why is that? Hey, wait a minute. Let me make that larger so that part isn't. Why is that? There we go. I think. Let's try it. There, that's better. Something about did not and hearing. And has he been released? Hmm. Yeah. Was there someone else also in the same jail? That's why when I said Van Nuys, it's like, wow. Yeah. But again, I don't know. I haven't even, looked up information regarding Donat in some time. I'm sure when he comes back, if he comes back, his channel, his main channel was taken before, and or one of his backup channels, then his main channel, he probably has other channels on YouTube. I don't know, or maybe he will go on Twitch. Certainly people are going to want to hear from him and his experience. I'm sure he's going to be at least. This is what I don't know. I haven't spoken to him, but I would think he's probably going to be changed in somewhat. Yeah, people think he's. Uh, I again, we don't know, but my expectation is he's probably gonna want to talk about his experience. Um, yeah, what he dealt with, what he learned, what questions. I'm sure because there's been a lot of speculation, and on him, I haven't speculated at all. Really, I just haven't. So I'm sure it's been difficult. Uh, at minimum, being in jail for some period of time. It's been over a month, I think. Yeah. Jail is not prison, right? Yeah. No jail time. Kia Espinosa. Good evening. Good for him. Hmm. What is this? Either released or being released tomorrow. Hmm. Wow. Again, I'm sure he's going to have maybe I don't know uh, something to say. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Maggie showed receipts. I didn't watch Maggie tonight. No, I just no got it. And those receipts was it uh, like from a hearing or something? So the receipts that he's being released. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I haven't watched videos today. But just enough to know. I heard that. I heard something about yeah, him being released. Yes. Mhm. Uh, yeah. I made at least a post. I made a post when part 5 of that video on Donat was removed by YouTube. Everybody remembers that, maybe, you know, and then it was put back up, right? So court documents with information. Hmm. did that contain like charges or anything? I mean, what all of this was about? Again, I'm sure he'll, speak about it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Mhm. Um yeah, so it depends on what a person, their background and the judge and if they have a lawyer or if they don't, yeah, and their record. Um, Her video was struck during the live. I didn't. I didn't know if it was live or not, but I do know when I went to look for it that it came up that it was removed for harassment and cyberbullying and violating YouTube community guidelines. So I would have wondered what was inside of that video. And I still hadn't watched it, even when it went back up. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see. Starts with, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, being very cautious to not put anything in the chat that, yeah, would violate YouTube. Let's see. Maggie spoke of charges, but unfamiliar with it. It starts with a D. Okay. I don't know. I I actually don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but if he received no jail time, then was it like a misdemeanor or something like that? I don't know. Yeah, and then the part that I caught on Maggie's, what was there something about a warrant, something like that, right? Whatever it was, I'm sure we'll learn more. What time is it? It's 11:11. All right, my limit is 11:30 today. Yeah, which would be just about at the hour. Yeah, so we have a little bit more. So it was a misdemeanor. Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked. Mhm. And then the other, the YouTube, the black tea sector, the mess. Distraction, you think? I don't know. I don't know what to make of all of it. I just know when I started off, I mentioned, yeah, I've learned some things, my lessons, yeah. Um, it's like, can you talk about something that's been said on a platform and not offend a person if you're not beefing with them? Hmm. And then if you just merely want to just, it's not about trying to side with anyone because I haven't heard, what all the controversy about any of this. But what I would be interested always is hearing the origin. I mean, if I'm going to say anything about it, so I can get an understanding. Yeah, right. But these are grown folk, and I can't get in the ring with any of them, because I have said people can, people read on this platform, and I'm not, I, you know, my language, I couldn't even, yeah. Shade I can do, someone said. But as far as, going toe for toe, no. Hmm. And it'll be subtle. So you might not even pick up on it. Right. But it's, sometimes it's just a comment. And it's not, the shade sector. um, if it's shade or if it's the truth. But that's what shading usually is. There's some truth to it, right? But it's just the way it's conveyed. Cups of Conversations. I see you right there on the screen. If you think merely, definitely distraction. I've been in it for about a year. Very tangled web. It's because one of the reasons is, although I said this sector is small, and it is, people move around and yeah, and things change, weekly, daily basis, and there's just, my focus, everybody knows who I have a beef with, long standing, but anyone else, not so much. Not anymore. Not one that I'm going back and forth. That's what I should say. Yeah, I'm not going back and forth with these people. No. Have enough when my hands are full. Yeah. Let's see. Energy spent isn't worth it. Too many different beefs, distractions. Some may not know they are pawns. And then we were talking a little bit about the letter, and it was kind of late when I, it was right at the end. I think Cups, you were mentioning in one of your comments, people have gotten paid. Yeah. And then that perked me. I'm like, really? So where does it stand? Because I haven't really, I did read your message, Cups. Thank you. Some of it is like, what? Like, just to start stuff, I guess. Because content creators, I guess if we have stories that we talk about, and it's hot on the block, then certainly people are going to, watch. Yeah, some of it's so much right now. It's a lot that I can't, I haven't really pieced it all together because it seems to continue to evolve. Yeah, email me right now at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Yeah. The story is changing. Did we ever really conclude, when I say we, this sector, black tea, anyone in this sector that's believable, that we know with receipts created the letter, planted the beef. That's makes sense. Hey, Jennifer comes in. There are a lot of people on here who will do anything for a little bit of money. No boundaries as to how far people will go to hurt others sad. Yeah, when someone, if you've ever been the target of someone where a narrative has been created and you know it's just fabricated, false, and you try to fight against it, fight against it, meaning, you respond, and it just can get deeper and deeper, and then more people seem to in this sector, jump on. It's just like, yeah, and the momentum of it can pick up depending on who's talking about it or carrying the message and for how long. Yeah. Don't get you started. Don't get you started. Yeah. You mean you could, if I threw a link out, you could get started and give us like a 10-foot level, catch everybody up? It's 11:20. Yeah. Yep. Oh, definitely know about that. Responding doesn't help. It just brings more attention and more lies. Yeah. It's is it like scrambling for um is it more views or is it more followers? Because some people benefit from both, you right? Yeah. Because in the end, YouTube pays content creators for views, and based on a number of things, factors go on into it, and then advertising. If ads are playing on your video, yeah, it's pennies, but it adds up. Hmm. Yeah. Playing on your trauma, antagonists, professional victims. It's all about power. Yeah, like who's gonna rise? You know, yeah. But I mean, the bottom line, people, and I've realized this over time, people have their diehards, and their diehards aren't going to move. That's their diehards. They follow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when harm comes to others, that's the problem. Yeah. Mhm. Well, it's about time for me to wrap things up so I can get to bed before midnight. Mhm. Before coming on, I'm pretty much ready. Yeah. It wouldn't take me very long to wrap some things up. And I've got to start going to bed a little bit earlier. Mhm. Because I get up early and everyone knows that. More Gatorade? Uh-huh. Views, power, revenge. Yeah. Thank you, Vicky Black. Great commentary. Good night, Teddy and Mob. Yeah, biggest bear hugs go out to all the Grizzlies. Got about a few more minutes, but maybe a little bit more smooth jazz and soul, just to continue to relax and unwind. I'll be right back. All right, so I see while the music was playing, gifted a membership. Kaya Espinosa sent one Unwind with Teddy gift membership. Thank you for that, Kaya. And Tanika Gaines, crazy work, received a gift membership by Kaya. So thank you to Kaya for gifting the membership, and welcome to the Bear Cave, Tanika. I've checked my email. I think we're good. Once again, to my moderators, Baby Juju and Vicky Black, thank you for joining us and supporting the mob. My other bears I call grizzlies and honey bears. But now it's time to say good night. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the grizzlies and the honey bears, and those of you who spend your time, whether in the bushes or on the screen in the chat. That's it for me. Join me sometime tomorrow. I hope you have a good night. And rest well. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.